Welcome back to the Hoops Temple podcast. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz. Joining me from Sacramento, Aaron Schroeder.
How you doing, Nate? Good to be here.
Doing good. It's the 2025 off season, which means one of many things is we're going to finally finish out top 500, but we have a full another season in the books. And so we've got another 82 games, 20-something playoff games to reevaluate and reassess the guys who just finished up their hoops. And so we gotta make those corrections first before we finish out 500.
Yes, sir. Lots of modern players to go look at. Some pretty historic seasons for a lot of guys.
Pretty historic seasons for a lot of guys. And the way I've done this is I've gone through our list of the top 475, jotted down all of the modern guys. We have 60 modern guys, which I feel like out of a near 500, having that be a little bit heavier weighted towards the modern guys, not too heavy, is fairly fitting. But there are 60 total guys. I've got their numbers here. And since there's 60 of them, we try to keep these podcasts to about an hour, hour and a half. If we have a guy that we don't feel the season really merited much change, just got to say their name. Hey, you want to skip them? Let's skip them. That doesn't mean in anything. Just they're getting kind of skipped over for this. We also know that we're gonna have a lot of clerical duties, a lot of shifting around of lists. I believe, Aaron, you've already stuck some of these guys into position, whereas I have not. So our numbers are like, hey, this guy going 35, going 36. Hey, if you enjoy the pod, Aaron has the full listings available on his Patreon, so you can go there and see what the list actually shakes out. Try to pay a little bit more attention to the conversations and less to the final numbers, because those may be subject to clerical error on the live recording.
Quite a bit of changes for sure. 60 guys, a minute a guy's an hour. I'm ready to spend 20 minutes on the first guy. Let's get into it.
All right. Number 2 on our all-time rank, LeBron James. Did this season adjust you enough to make you think that he should jump Michael Jordan?
That's so funny. I didn't even consider him. He's already retired in my mind. No, it doesn't. And I think, like, would it ever be enough? Have we reached the point where we like Jordan's peak, what he was throughout the 90s, three-peating twice, 6 finals MVPs, where LeBron may never catch up to that? If LeBron plays until if this is like a Tom Brady thing and he plays until he's 45 and is this good the whole time? Like, okay, maybe. But honestly, I don't know. I think at some point, when you get this high on the all-time list, only the highest value currency is being exchanged. LeBron's not going to get those anymore. What do you think?
I am with you there. I think that at this point, LeBron has played, what was it, 22 beautiful years of basketball to Michael Jordan's. I suck at doing this off my head, and I just thought we were going to skip over LeBron entirely and not discuss him at all. But anyway, Jordan played. He's got 6 rings with the Bulls, 2 years with the Wizards, and 5 years before those.
Years.
So
15 years in total.
15 versus 21. The longevity edge goes quite handily towards LeBron. Aaron just dropped out. I'm going to pause. It's 15 years to LeBron's 21 or 22. The edge for longevity definitely goes to LeBron, and actually, he surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the Matrix for my longevity score.
Good.
And it's now very clear, like, those two are head and shoulders above everyone, even by the terms of the Matrix. But I can't get him over Jordan just yet. So I think he's fine at number 2. Jumping down, our second modern player, number 10 on our all-time list, Steph Curry, right behind Kobe Bryant and Larry Bird. Any thoughts of moving him up?
Heading into the season, I thought it was possible. I think Kobe's definitely within striking distance of Steph. It's too bad because I did my Kobe write-up, and I left just being like, Kobe's awesome. He's such a great player, played for so long, won so much, like such tough Western Conference playoff opponents and just crushed them. unbelievable longevity and consistency within like being a top 5 guy for so long, even if it never really like kind of flowers into best of the world 100% certain. Which I think I did go back and say he was the best player in 08. And then, but for only to only have that crown one time is pretty, I think is not a great reflection how great his career truly is. But I really feel like Steph's career wasn't enough to get there. He was all NBA second team. They made the playoffs. What do you think?
So I think you and I have had a little bit of come to Jesus moment. I say as two Jewish podcasters, it's a bit funny, but we had a bit of a come to Jesus moment in our evaluations of longevity. And like, I could get there with the idea that maybe Curry has peaked a tad bit higher. Maybe. I'm not sure that I'm fully there to wrap my head around it, but he's changed the game. He will have a great historical legacy. He will probably be remembered more fondly than Kobe. And coming from sort of my generation, who Kobe is everything and was everything for us, like it means a lot to say that. But I think what you said there is his longevity of being a top 5 guy. I mean, he hits the top 5 status in 2001. I feel like that's a safe way to say it. You had him at 10 in your 2000 player rankings, and he holds on to it until 2012, 2013. It was the year that we last did the 2013. So, like, that's 12 years of that status. Curry won his first MVP 10 years ago and was not really a top 5 player before that, and has missed, like, whole years, basically, with injuries in between. So, like, it's just it's not quite there. And if we're waffling, I'm gonna give the nod to the guy that I feel has about the same peaks, equal peaks, and a much greater longevity at the point. So we're gonna keep
sure. I need one more.
There.
I need one more. I think with Steph's an 11-time All-NBA player. Kobe made first team 10 times. He just owned that spot. And maybe it's a popularity contest, sure. Can't tell me that Steph isn't popular as well. And for the peaks, like 07 to 09 in the playoffs, 3 straight finals appearances, 2 championships, and Kobe's averaging 30, 35, and 5. He was that guy.
All right. Hey, number 3 on the modern players list, we're going to actually have to skip some guys is here, but it's fun to talk about these guys. Nikola Jokic, I don't know what we had him at the start of this year. I believe you've already moved him up. I wholeheartedly agree. Where are you putting him now?
So he was 14. Now he's 13. So we had Dr. J, Hakeem, and then Jokic. And I proposed a shuffle for Hakeem, Jokic, and then Dr. J.
I approve that shuffle in the text.
With a contract caveat of Jokic will probably be above Hakeem after next year. And we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, you've long set the rule of you need 5 combined MVPs and titles with a minimum of 1 of each. You kind of be the best guy on some of those title teams. Sorry, David Robinson. Sorry. Yeah, I guess you make a case for Bob Cousy, but like
well, it doesn't
everyone
matter.
in
He doesn't have 5. He doesn't have 5. He has 3.
Yeah, but if Jokic can get that 4th MVP, a 2nd title, something to get him up to that 5, then we can start talking about potential top 10 territory. I'm very interested in seeing him move above Wilt. I just don't feel that he has done that yet. But Jokic is the best player in basketball and has been for the last 3-4 years. And like he has the belt, and I will not listen to any of this. Oh no, Shea should have the belt.
Shea has the belt. Yeah, that's all right. That's fine. We'll do our top 100. Shea has the belt. MVP, right. Conference Finals MVP.
And Aaron left again.
I'll just keep going. Shea's the best player in the world. League MVP, Conference Finals MVP, Finals MVP. And he beat Jokic on the way, man. Destroyed, crushed them in Game 7. That's the only caveat. Because Steph, MVP final or MVP in 2015 champion doesn't have the finals MVP and got outplayed by LeBron in the finals. That's why LeBron still has the belt in 2015. It's different this year.
No. If you're going to say it's because he doesn't get the finals MVP, because there was this fluky Iguodala voting, miss me with that.
Iguodala was the best player on that series for Golden State.
No, he wasn't.
No,
He was
no,
not.
because Steph was
And
miserable
you know
in
it.
the first half of that.
Sure.
No, I Steph was
But he's
terrible in the
also the
first
guy-
half of that series. No,
He's
he's
also the
great
guy
in
that
last
all of the
games.
defensive focus is on, and has to absorb all of that attention. Whereas Iggy just gets to go out there and defend LeBron. I say that like it's an easy thing, but okay, Aaron left me again. You know what? No, I'm just gonna keep recording through this. Iggy just had to defend LeBron. Curry had to be defended by all 5 Cavaliers. That is a significant difference. Aaron, I decided to just power through this, say that you agreed to everything, and we're gonna move right along.
Back in, I don't have
13.
I don't have a background anymore. I should be good. I think that was the problem.
I don't know. Your audio still sounds a little bit funky to me, but I've been fighting a sinus thing and can't hear out of my left ear right now, so
You sound a little
everything sounds
crackly,
funky.
I'd say.
I was gonna say that you sound the same. All
Well,
right,
this is
we
true
now
dynamic.
have Kevin Durant, number 4 on our modern players. I'm interested in revisiting the debates, him versus Julius Erving. I think it's closer than we maybe think.
Yeah, we've had Dr. J above KD for so long. I feel like since we started that ranking, I've been okay with Durant passing him up. Like, yeah, this is gonna happen. And then every Durant season is just worse and worse. It's just more and more terrible, and it's sad. And like, I think Houston could be a perfect like placement for him. And we'll talk about this probably tomorrow, given the free agency pod we're doing. But a chance to be on a team where he isn't like the main focus, and they have structure built around him, and he can't like destroy it. But Dr. J has 4 MVPs to Durant's 1. He won 3 titles to Durant's 2. Even if there's some ABA tax going on, he still has like this high end accolade thing going on. And he made more NBA Finals appearances. I mean, Dr. J was phenomenal and played for so long.
Yeah, I think I think it's fair to look at Durant as the greatest player to never lead his own franchise to a title. He wins titles, but like he wasn't the guy. The system not built around him. He's one of the most versatile scorers, one of the greatest scorers. Like if I had to, choose a guy to get a bucket at the end of game scenario, it's probably Durant. And because of all the ways he can do it. And at the same time, I want to see him do it. I want to see him really lead a team, really, when things get tough, I want to see him rise to the moment. Like, and he kind of did that. I took some heat for questioning his post Golden State stuff, but the guy once again kind of points out like, hey, the Nets were really good when they had all the guys, and even when they didn't have the guys, like when it's Harden on a broken leg. And I went back whatever Harden had, and Kyrie was out. But it's Durant versus Giannis. I went back and revisited some of those games, and Durant is really good at the game of basketball and really bad at the business of basketball and like choosing and plotting his course. Because if he had done if his career played out so many different ways, I think we would already have him over me. And just the way he's done it, I don't think we can yet.
I think we'll get there. Hopefully. I mean, it's been more and more disappointing each season. I mean, think about basically since leaving Golden State, we've gotten a bunch of half seasons and 2 playoff series wins.
Yeah.
That's all we have. I mean, he's great the whole time, but you'd like to see just a more consistent presence.
Yeah. And he got crushed and worked by the Celtics the second year with the Nets. That's the second playoff run with the Nets. That's so 15's fine for him. Now, you did move up our fifth modern guy, Giannis, to the number 20. So he now holds the power forward crown since we have Duncan listed as center.
It's
You want
exciting.
to? Yeah.
This is the best. This is the best day on our podcast. We don't have Karl Malone as the best power forward. Well, we changed that already. It was we flipped Dirk ahead of him because we love 2011 so much, and then now Giannis has the belt. I think looking at it, Giannis has the Karl Malone like regular season consistency. He's just in the first team All NBA every single season automatically. He's that kind of good. He's that kind of talent. And he dominated a finals. And he had 50 points in a finals closeout game. He has a championship ring. It's kind of the best of the best of Dirk and Karl Malone. At the same time, there's still a lot of longevity to make up for, but I think Giannis is better at this point.
Yeah. If we just look at some of the metric scorings on how these guys are ranked, Giannis is still the worst of the 4 or 5 power forwards we have clustered here, or Giannis, Dirk, Karl Malone, Kevin Garnett, and Barkley. And that is almost 100% because of the longevity score. But he is outperforming all of them in his playoff score. He's outperforming most of them in the award score, all of them in the peak score. And yeah, so it's literally just the writer's opinion and his longevity that's holding him back. But he's got them in peak awards and in playoffs. Malone does have him in awards just because of all of the awards that Malone has from extreme longevity. Malone also has him in it, like it's just the longevity part of it. But like Giannis is really good at basketball, and we'll get into this more when we do our offseason takes. But Giannis poised for that MVP season.
Yeah, oh, really?
Carry it, Doc Rivers. Oh yeah, he's ready to make a comeback into this
Wow.
conversation.
I think it's Jokic's. It's gonna be. I think he's gonna win it, maybe unanimously.
I think you're underestimating how many wins are available in the East and how bad it is. There's a chance. I was listening to the Athletics ranking the Eastern Conference teams. They're like way too early. I'm like, could the Bucks give 55 wins this season?
55 wins. They'd be lucky to get 45. At the Eastern schedule, it's not weighted that heavily. You still have to play Western Conference teams.
They play 52 games against the East, and 46 of them should be wins. Is what I'm saying. I mean,
I'm telling you, man, they're gonna be playing Kyle Kuzma legitimate minutes. But to talk about Giannis, because the MVP race is interesting. Yeah, he's 13th in MVP shares, and I think that's probably a better reflection of the trajectory he's on, the kind of players he's gonna be around when it's all said and done. And you are just still waiting on. I mean, because Karl Malone was good. He was good until he was 40, and Dirk played forever as well.
Aaron, if you had to bet on it right now, does Durant pass Julius Erving before Giannis passes Durant?
Wow.
Which I realize we're the people that are making this decision, so it can be
so looking at next season. Yeah.
Well,
no, Durant would pass. I think Durant's gonna pass Dr. J because I just don't think it's that far away. I don't think it's that far away, and I keep waiting for it to happen. Make a conference finals. I don't know, man. Like he is primed to go to the finals. And if this is a second round exit and he plays in 60 games, it's going to be disappointing again. And I feel like Giannis is like another title away from Durant. And that's not going to happen. We're not close to that right now.
I'll take an MVP over a title. I mean, not like that, but like
I just don't think he's if he wins another MVP,
I think that does as much work as the title.
If he does what is required to win an MVP this season, then yes, he's better than Durant because that'd be an insane season.
All right, moving down, our sixth best modern player, or sixth best player that's currently in the game, James Harden. We've got 26th. He's also 26th in the Matrix. I have no interest in moving him anywhere. Do you have any interest in moving him?
I don't. And I'll leave one comment. Fantastic age 35 season. When Dwayne Wade was 35, he was beyond washed up. But the question has always remained, who can be the best player on a title team? Wade has, without a doubt, conclusive evidence that is possible, dominates a finals run, dominates a finals, and Harden's always had these question marks. He is basically the worst playoff performing superstar in our top 30.
I will also say with Wade, there's both the question of him being number one and the question of him being number two, where he adjusts his game and supports LeBron James in some of those later title runs with the Heat. Like, but we've not seen Harden be able to be a good enough off-ball player to be a number two in situations, or a good enough defender. Like, he has to be your primary. If he's not good enough to be your primary, can he be your secondary? No. So, then moving right along, we've got Chris Paul, 29th. Any did his starting year with the Spurs move you any?
It is kind of funny that. Are you still here?
I'm
Okay,
still
there you are.
here.
You're
Weird.
like, your camera is weird.
Huh. All right.
Chris Paul plays in 82 games in the one season where no one needed it. He finally did it. He usually misses about 15 games a year, but was healthy this season. I think he's locked in. He's at 29. Unbelievable longevity, crazy peak for a point guard as the best passer and defensive player at the point guard position. And the lack of playoff success kind of holds him back still. All good?
Yeah. Yeah, I just switched to the computer camera. We are having some technical issues.
Seriously?
Which
I
normally we
haven't
just had internet and lag.
I haven't dropped out. I think it's because I am using. I realize that it says like if you're using a virtual background, like it's unstable.
Now you just get bad computer camera.
Mm.
So not as pretty.
It's all
I
good.
know that people come to this podcast
Mhm.
my sex appeal. The low cut tanks.
Yeah, gotta
Just
keep
for
them
them.
coming.
All right. Next modern guy, Kawhi. Any interest in moving Kawhi up or down?
We had a really great moment over text where I basically said we still don't know if Kawhi can stay healthy for an entire season and make the finals and have another one of these playoff runs. And you go, no, we know. We have the answer. We actually do have the answer. He's given us that at this point. Kawhi is still such a great player when he's playing. The Clippers rested him. He had all the rest in the world. He was healthy in the playoffs. Wasn't good enough. They lost to Denver in the first round.
Albeit, they pushed Denver very hard. Denver pushed OKC very hard. OKC won the title. So, like,
Wait,
it,
wait a second. Whoa, they actually won the championship. You think about it.
Yeah, if you think about it, they're like 2 wins away from winning the title.
You know how many games Kawhi played in this year?
Not as many, but he played more down the stretch. What was it, like 45?
37. That's actually less than I thought.
Yeah, that's a little bit less than I thought too.
A really weird game 7 too. He only shot the ball 13 times. Like him and Harden had this kind of passive thing going on, and they got just beat down.
Yeah. Now they got Brook Lopez, so maybe that's what Quinn needs.
I think this is the oldest team since the Jordan Bulls.
There were some old Lakers teams. I'm not sure how old, but there's some old Lakers teams.
Yeah, like Kobe, Nash, Gasol. But like this is like Harden, Kawhi. Derek Jones is 30. Lopez is like 37. Who's left?
I don't know, but we've got a lot more names left. We're just on guy 8 of 60, and then I have 16 more names that I want to bring up.
Let's keep it going.
So we're at the speed
the 3-hour pod.
No, I want to go high.
The 4-hour pod.
All right, next highest guy on the board. before you made any of your changes was Luka Doncic at 48, and I'm
Uh,
here to say I think we went too high on Luka. I think we went too high, too
wow,
fast,
too high.
too
Interesting.
high, too fast.
A move
Um,
back. Oh, a classic. A
well,
move back.
I think that we shuffle him back to the Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook area is my proposal.
No. No, I'm not.
No,
Okay, here's my thinking. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I think what Westbrook is without a doubt worse than Luka is, and Davis is too.
sure, they are worse individual players than what we have seen from Westbrook at his best, but we've also seen twice as much of them. We're still hoping that that Luka Doncic kind of softens out some of those rough edges, continues to play defense at the level that we saw him get through the Western Conference, and not the level that we saw when he got to the NBA Finals. I think at this point, Westbrook Westbrook has the MVP. Westbrook was the best player for a good long time, and was the number 2 on finals or a Western Conference team that came within a game of it. And we can criticize Westbrook fair and squarely, but also these guys just the levels that they played at and the lengths that they played at these levels for so long. I think that trumps what guys has done to this point.
I just totally disagree. I can't. I don't think I can find common ground with this one. I think with Luca, we've done this for other players where it's all right. We went too high, and that second season doesn't really add anything. Where it's just like, no, we actually got it right the first time. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he made 5 first-team All NBAs in a row. He was top 10 MVP voting, third in 2024, and took his team to the finals. Like Anthony Davis never played in 2 playoff series. Sorry, Anthony Davis made the playoffs twice in New Orleans. Like Luca took dog shit to the playoffs instantaneously in Dallas. Russell Westbrook has never won a playoff series as the best guy on his team. It's Durant, and then he basically won nothing after that. Like Luca took his team to the finals, man. He went to the finals. He was in the playoffs, and that is such an insane difference between Westbrook and Davis isn't as healthy.
If they walked away and never touched a basketball again, though,
Undoubtedly,
the
I would
greater
still
career.
take Luca.
See, Davis at least has been. He's won the title. He was the second guy, but he was the guy. Or I mean, he was is the defense. Let's see, up. He got through the playoffs. We don't know if Luka ever will.
It doesn't matter.
I
I
think
guess it doesn't matter to me if Luca ever will, because he's already made as many All NBA teams as Davis have. It took Davis twice as long because he's not as good. He's not as good. It's just a much different caliber of player. We're talking about Davis being like, I mean, the issues is Davis is injured, but when healthy, he's in these conversations. I mean, Luca has been like, just pencil him in as a top 5 player for years now, and his career's still so young.
he's always next year's MVP.
Yeah, and Anthony
We
Davis
haven't
is,
seen it yet.
the never year MVP because it's never happening.
Yeah,
Never gonna happen.
but part of the Luka awards that he's gotten is a little bit of people get excited about the young guys. That's why Ben Simmons gets
No, it's
multiple
because
of
he's
these.
averaging 38 and 8,
Yes,
and
yes, he's got the popcorn
that's
numbers.
come on, man, come on. That's why he's
All
great.
right,
I
all
mean,
right, we
okay,
can leave
here's
him
the other,
here.
like, yeah.
But here's the other thing: is clearly, if we move him up, or if we move him down, we're gonna have to move him up in a year or two. Just if we move him down, but I just feel a little bit.
I feel like when players touch a Lakers jersey, you turn on them. If he was still in
Absolutely.
Dallas, you would not have said this.
I wouldn't have watched him as closely. I would be as critical.
Okay, but genuinely, this is the worst version of Luca. Like rookie Luca was probably better than LA Luca. He's super fat. He's fat cone on defense, and you're hoping with some health next season can be better.
I'm hoping with some proper motivation, like getting kicked out of the top 50, he'll start playing like a goddamn top 50 all-time player.
There you go. Luca's listening to this podcast. All right, who's next?
Absolutely. So I know that you have made some adjustments here, and I believe you want to insert the good sir Shea Gilgeous-Alexander into this top 50 range.
That's right. Well, don't say me. We. This is a co-signed ranking.
Well, you're throwing a little hitch ranking because I want him right behind Walt Frazier, but I also want him at Luka Doncic, which I had to first do my proposal to knock Luka Doncic.
There's no chance I'm putting SGA behind Walt Frazier. You say behind Walt Frazier?
I said behind Walt Frazier.
Of Knicks? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yes.
No chance. No chance.
Yes.
Split leagues, diluted NBA, no serious MVP consideration. Give me a break.
Multiple titles, longevity of career. So as we've
Walt Frazier's longevity sucks. Walt Frazier was washed at like 29.
And Shea didn't have the first several years because he was on garbage tanking team and still is only 26.
What happened? What happened to you? The first time you talked about this, you wanted him ahead of Allen Iverson. You wanted him in the top 40, and now you're talking about Walt Frazier. Oh my god!
Iverson's 41. So I've been reviewing these guys. One of the things that I think we missed the most on is going off of guys like best season or two best seasons, and really we skewed way too heavily towards like an absolute peak over everything else, and not as much of a appreciation for a broader totality or a broader impact. And from 70 to 73, the Knicks get 2 titles. Frazier, in my mind, has a great case to have been Finals MVP for both of them, and he loses them for opposite reason.
But he didn't, Nate. But he did not. All right, that's a part of it.
Okay. Well, where do you want to put him? Where's your proposal then?
No, we co-signed at 43, right ahead of George Gervin and behind Allen Iverson.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay, all right. Just to talk about this, I think Shea is the best or second best player in the world this season. Last year, he was top 3. Do you think is Frazier at that point? I think he kind of flirts with it in like the worst era in NBA history, and I think that really matters. Especially because the ABA was poaching more guards than bigs, and you know that. Part of why Frazier continues to dominate, or he seems to get better, is where the league's heading, and that the league was in a sense getting worse, or not necessarily, or not getting better really, like it usually does over time.
Sure, that also does prolong the careers of other greats. That way he can have these matchups against the Jerry West, against Robertson, who, if the league was deeper, probably would have been a little bit more washed, a little bit more pushed aside. It is supposed to. All right, we'll stick with them. I've got a lot of guys up after this Shea movement that I don't think we really need to move or talk about too much. Okay. I think we're about right with our Jason Tatum ranking. Tatum. Yeah. I've got 55 now that once I redo my numbers and get in there, drops 56. But like,
yeah, 56.
Tatum had a good year, great year. Yeah, the injury really hurts him. Jimmy Butler, 57 now. Don't really move him anywhere. Damian Lillard, 59. I think he's a good spot. Or sorry, 60 with the shuffling of numbers.
I think I have. So I have Davis 61, but I think we're in the same place.
Did you put someone else in? Another Monarch guy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Actually, you know what I did? It's I think no. No, that's not right.
We'll deal with the clerical
Yeah,
stuff later.
yeah.
Sure. All right. So then Embiid, this season did not move me any on Embiid. I think we know who he is. He's a top 5 guy when healthy. And he's a healthy guy less than 50% of the time.
Yeah. I mean, less than 50% is honestly generous at this point. Pretty sad, pretty tough. I hope he has a great season. The East is wide open. I mean, this could be something really great given the landscape of the league. But
Paul George, this year in Philly, also not making much of an impact on his rankings.
hell no, move him down. That was a terrible year. Paul George being washed was not on my bingo card, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping that there's like a bounce back there. Like things were just off and Philly from the beginning. And I think maybe got cooked enough that guys maybe show back up with some heart and try to say like this wasn't actually us. We just kind of the ball started rolling and no one could catch it. So the fact that Philly only kept their if it was top 6 protected, I think there was like a turning point where Philly was like, cool, just lean into this, as opposed to, all right, you really figure your shit out and be better. So I think that Philly could shock some people in how much better they look this year than they were last year, but they also could all just be injured again and completely washed and be another garbage team again. So,
Story
like
every
I
year.
said, there's a chance Milwaukee gets 55 wins.
That's insane, by the way. That's not close to happening. There is just no way in hell. They still have to play. I think when the East is bad, it doesn't make the East good. It makes all the Eastern teams bad because they get destroyed by the Western Conference. Anyways, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk. All right. We got Kyrie down at 91. I think if Kyrie hadn't gotten hurt, I'd be interested in moving him up.
I wonder if there's one guy we have that's shifted up because I have Kyrie at 92. Anyways, not sure who could be in the way of that.
Where did you put Hallie? You don't have Hallie for a while, don't you?
No, for a while.
I'll compare our list after this. I don't want to do it.
All right. I do agree. Kyrie's longevity. Go ahead.
Pause. Oh, right. We decided that the word is for clerical and not for podcast recording. So we're just going to power through, talk about ranking some of these guys, and carry right along. After Kyrie, who no interest in Kyrie around, correct?
No, I think we can keep him here.
We've got Devin Booker. I think we might have been a tad bit high on sake. I say we leave him where he be, and maybe readdress unless you have any strong feelings about pushing him down.
For who?
Devin Booker.
Booker. Sorry, just cutting out a little bit. 1 sec. I'm gonna edit your mic settings. Okay. It's interesting. Booker's one of the guys that we were too high on because we thought he was the best player on a finals team, and then that ended up not really sticking around. He kind of has gone down a level, so he's fall down to where did Booker end up?
I've got him at 94 ish on mine. We do need.
I have 116.
Oh, so you've already kicked him down.
He's way down there. Yeah. All right. So moves. Booker, very good shooter, excellent scorer. I think we thought there was going to be this great Suns revival centered around him that I guess was ruined by Durant, but yeah.
There at least was supposed to be a several year, not run, but like contention period. It built around the two of them. And one of the things was the thought that he could be a little bit more point guard. He could initiate and run the offense. And when they tried to put the ball in his hands more, that just didn't happen. It didn't work out. And it kind of continued to show up as like a player shortcoming. Yeah, I think I might even push him further down the looking at that 116 range. We've got Derrick Rose in there. We've got Joe Dumars, Finals MVP Joe Dumars. We
Yeah.
have Yao Ming. I think we could stand to push him down a little bit further. Maybe not too much, just because we've got Marc Gasol, Sean Marion,
Yeah.
just a little ways down. But
I think he's better than Pete Maravich, and I have him right behind Dumars. Just for some context, he was first team All NBA and fourth in MVP voting, and the year prior went to the finals. And so we were like, "This is great. Devin Booker's
yeah,
here." And then the next year he was injured and wasn't an All Star All NBA. And then he was third team All NBA. And then this year he played the whole season, but his team sucked so bad that he wasn't an All Star or All NBA again, despite him being really good. Like, I think Booker is a top 20 guy right now. We thought it'd be more like top 10 year after year.
yeah. There was the chance that he was really going to elevate, and it was more of a blip. We now have the way was here prior to this season. So Shea is jumping up a good 70 spots, 75 spots. That's from his preseason ranking. And we have Kevin Love, who I don't think his play merited any change. We have Draymond Green, winner of the 2025 Hustle Awards and All Defensive First Team. I'd like to move up Draymond just a little bit. I'd like to get him over Bailey Howell.
Over who?
Over Bailey Howell.
Okay.
We've got Bailey up a little ways. Bailey was a great, power forward for the Pistons when the Pistons were not a good team. He was able to latch on to the Celtics and get a couple of those late rings where he is a good scoring force, but not the key guy. And I think, I just think Draymond plays a similar role as a support piece for more title teams in a tougher era. And I kind of like him just, it's up 4 or 5 spots.
I agree. In fact, I'm actually ahead of that. I have him up at 124 at the moment.
You can't just keep moving all these guys around on me.
That's the ranking I'm suggesting, up at 124. So that'd be, I believe, behind for you behind Chris Bosh and right above Yao Ming.
Our lists have gotten wildly diverged in the past several months. I don't know what you've been doing here.
I'm guessing on where
Well,
on
I
where
have
they
like
would have
5 guys between Yao Ming and Chris Bosh.
Really? Oh, I must have moved Yao Ming back a while ago. All right. Well, put Draymond Green at 124. How's that sound?
No. Because
right.
So the 124 range does put over certain guys like Chris or like Marc Gasol, and maybe that's more of just we need to elevate Gasol.
He's better than Marc Gasol.
Marc Gasol was the fixture of his team. We saw Marc Gasol, an older, washed Marc Gasol, get to be the defensive anchor for Raptors team on a title run. You're telling me that if you paired Marc Gasol with a legitimate top 15 guy for his entire career, this guy doesn't have 5 rings? This guy is not... Like, he anchored a team. He was the best player. He was, their go-to offensive guy and their go-to defensive guy. And Draymond Green just was that guy.
Draymond Green is a transformative defensive piece and has 4 championships because of that on a dynasty. And we're talking about, you're saying Marc Gasol was the guy. Marc Gasol's a 3-time All-Star and a 2-time All-NBA player. Like, okay, like, I don't know, like, for someone who's, like, the focal point, usually you kind of see, like, him rewarded with, like, all right, this guy's the best player, here's your All-Star appearance. Like, I don't know, man. Where, if it's... Yeah, I guess I understand, like, if you paired Marc Gasol with Steph Curry, it'd probably look different. All right, where do you want to put?
Yeah. I could go just behind Gasol. How about power-wise? A little bit higher than where I had him, being over Bailey Howell, and a little bit lower than where you had him.
All right, I'll make that adjustment. So one.
I'll just trust your adjustments. It's then copy my list off yours. But I'm watching you. No funny business this time around, mister.
Yeah, should be 130. There you go. I think it could be. I think Derrick Rose is not. We should talk about him for a second.
Not in the league. No.
He was. he. That's all counted as a semi-active player who just retired. That.
Okay, give me your Roche spiel, but this is gonna be 3 hours.
No, this is your Rose spiel. He wasn't good for very long. It's 2.5 seasons at the most, and he's at 123.
I think you've kicked him down already. You call
Yeah,
these
that's
little
what I'm
adjustments, these guys.
I'm saying the adjustment is moving
Oh.
him to 123.
To 123?
Yeah.
That's still. Are you trying to get him? Can we at least have him above Heinsohn, Westfall?
Sure. I mean, yeah, all right. Okay. So
I mean,
right above Heinsohn, above Pete Maravich?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically where he is right now.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of an adjustment.
Yeah. I don't hate it. Yeah, he does come back and play a good number of years. It was after the injury, just never at a level that would merit this type of conversations. But once again, we have discussed 21 of our guys. We've got 60.
Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
I mean,
Klay
I think
Thompson,
that the
no
higher
change.
names are the bigger ones.
Yes. But we do still have some of the guys that had seasons this year that merit a little bit more discussion. So Klay Thompson, no change. Donovan Mitchell, though, 5th in MVP this last year. Where do you want to move up Mitchell to? What do you think that this season does for his ranking?
To lead a top seed like that, even though the end was disappointing, a lot of that was injuries. I think Mitchell was a top 10 player throughout the 2025 season. I think moving him to 125 is the idea.
And is that your ranking somewhere in the Marcus Aldridge, Chris Bosh territory? You gotta give me names of guys that you want to go over.
Yes, that'd be right behind LaMarcus Aldridge and Chris Bosh, and ahead of Yao Ming, who I guess I moved out at some point, and Connie Hawkins, who probably moved down too.
I love it. I think that's a good spot for him here. His numbers were down last year, but I think a lot of that was him kind of pacing himself and playing a little bit more team ball. Also, a little bit more off ball and better defense. I'm not gonna say good defense, but he has a really good team, and Mitchell contributes to that.
I'd say he was about as good this year as he was last year. I was a little disappointed he was first team All NBA. I didn't really understand that. Probably a little bit too much a reward for his team success that didn't really hinge on him, but that's all right.
Hey, I'm there with you because I think Cade and all NBA second team, and I'm looking at the second teamers and I'm like, what the hell? Why are you guys over Cade?
Yeah,
Modi, looking at you. All right, so if we move up Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, I think that there's a small just to some gains in longevity. Because we've got him behind Vern Mickelson and JoJo White, and I just think he should leapfrog those two guys. I think he's been playing enough basketball that I think the lack of longevity has narrowed down. Vern is the third guy on early 50s these championship teams for the Lakers. JoJo gets a Finals MVP, kind of similarly to Jaylen Brown, where no one thinks it's JoJo's White team. He's a very good piece. But with today, Aaron, you still
you're back
there?
Yeah, I lost you. We are having some technical difficulties.
You're back. We are. What do you think about Jaylen Brown over Vern and JoJo White?
I think that's about right. Considering if all eras are equal, I'd still like Vern and JoJo White, but they're not. Vern is playing in a pre-segregation era, or not pre. Yeah, I guess not pre, in a segregated era, and JoJo White
It's
is
an
playing in a split ABA NBA era, and doesn't have much success once the leagues merge. And so, yeah, I'd say Brown over them is totally reasonable. It's interesting looking back at the 2024 Celtics. How are you going to explain to your kids that Jaylen Brown, who won both Finals MVP and Eastern Conference Finals MVP, was not the best player on that team? Go ahead. I'm going to pretend like
Did you
I'm
get
your
them
son.
both?
You got them both. I'm going to pretend like I'm your kid. I'm. What's your son's name again?
I don't think I've said on the pod. But,
Yeah. Is that no, we don't have to share that on live then. But all right, pretend
you know,
I'm growing up, go, Dad, who's the best player on the 2024 Boston Celtics that won the title?
listen, Julius. I want to tell you this. It doesn't matter. They're in Boston. Fuck Boston.
There you go. All right. Great. All right. Where am
There
I
we go.
moving Brown up to? Brown goes to all right, right there. Excellent.
Also,
Wonderful.
how would you feel about flipping your order so it's Brown on top, JoJo White, and then Vern Mickelson?
I still prefer Mickelson.
Really?
For all NBA teams.
Okay.
Yeah. For better, more winning, more
Finals
accolades.
MVP. Finals MVP.
Yeah, that's fine.
League wasn't segregated.
But it was.
I mean, technically a decent. JoJo White is black. That's what I'm saying.
Who are we talking about? I thought you were talking about Mickelson.
Yeah. Trying to get JoJo over Mickelson.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. No, I think I really feel like when you look at what the Celtics are doing, I think about the AB. I think about Dr. J not being there. I think about George McGinnis not being there until the last couple years. But
that's fair. I think about what Vern did. There not being as many African American players, so
reasonable.
kind of the same thing.
Reasonable.
Kind of,
All right. Who's
to be fair, kind of the same thing. Next up we have Jalen Brunson, and the Knicks' massive changes. Clutch player of the year, 26 points per game, 3 assists per game. I would also like to move Brunson up, but I think we moved Brunson up too much last time. And so, in a very brief peak, he went from being like Dallas not wanting to give him that attention because they did not think he was good enough to now talking about him in top 150 or So I'm okay with him staying here or maybe moving up a couple of spots over Earl Monroe and Bob Davies, but I think that's probably it.
I have him at 140, around right behind Mark Price and Klay Thompson, and ahead of Mitch Richmond and Peja Stojakovic.
I'm glad it sounds like you moved Peja down because I have notes. I want to lower Peja and Glenn Rice, and it sounds like you've already handled that adjustment. So yeah, I'm fine with that. I think this is good.
Okay. Jalen Brunson, 140.
Perfect. Now we've got a slew of guys that I don't think need to move very much. Rudy Gobert, who I currently have as 150, you might have slightly different, and with your reshufflings.
Just a touch, but hey, another really good Gobert season. Back-to-back conference finals appearances, and we had question marks about his impact in the playoffs. Destroyed your Lakers in the first round.
Crushed them. Offensively too, and that's when you know it's a crushing.
That's when you know it's bad.
Yeah. All right. Next, Rosen. He is 28th all time in points now. He moved up from third, passing a slew of legends: Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, Rick Barry, amongst the names.
Wow.
Any desire to move him?
As a Kings fan, I watched a lot of DeMar DeRozan this year. I think DeMar DeRozan is good. I think he's a good player and he's a good scorer. and he actually made more of an attempt to be a 3-point shooter than he has in previous seasons. But I think we have him perfectly slotted.
Yeah, I think he's really built into his happy rank with us. All right. After that, I think we've got Kyle Lowry is the next highest. And I just want to let you know, he is 97th in the Matrix. We've got him at 183-ish, which might have him slightly different with these rankings. But I don't feel like this particular season was enough to really move him. Maybe if we can do a full readjustment, we could talk about Lowry and his impact. But I think he's probably okay right here.
I think his overall this season doesn't change anything, but I would like to see him up at kind of close to 183, like above Chris Middleton. And
I have 183.
All right, okay, I must have misheard you then. The 83 is fine. 183 is fine then.
Yeah, two spots above Middleton and 183. I also don't think this season changes any.
I think if Lowry's in the Western Conference and he made 3 All-Star teams and 1 All-NBA team, you would think about him a lot differently. But he has 19 All-Star appearances coming out of the Eastern Conference.
He also, just matrix-wise, is because the one actually is weakest story in the Matrix. The playoff reps and the fact that he was able to put in so much time in the playoffs, which if he's on the same quality of team in the West, he's probably not getting much playoff reps, or at least not as deep of runs. All right, moving right along. This time season does not move me at all.
Who'd you say? Sorry, you got him.
Sorry, Chris Middleton, then Bam. The Bam doesn't move me. Does it move you?
No, I mean Middleton is in Washington now, and Bam, we're out. We're just out. He's never going to be a good offensive player. He peaked in 2020.
Yeah. All right, Al Horford, the ageless wonder. I think we did underrate him a bit, but kind of in a similar way to Lowry. I don't think that this season really makes a huge difference for him. I wouldn't mind getting him up next to Bobby Jones or just over Bobby Jones. That's 2 spots above where we have Lowry. There was at least a time where Horford was it is truly a egalitarian team, the Hawks. He was the best player on them.
Yeah, no, he was. I think it's like him and Joe Johnson and Millsap and Josh Smith and the power of 4 really, really strong starters. And yeah, I mean, Horford has a very, very strong career and the longevity is excellent. It's so tricky because I know that Bam Adebayo is a better player. And he's 20-10 through a finals run. And so I don't really feel the need to put him up there. Maybe we'll revisit that.
So my only thinking is Bam is not done with his career. Lowry, Middleton, Bobby Jones, these guys are done with their careers.
Don't count out Bobby Jones. I like how you're including Bobby Jones and Kyle Lowry in the same sentence when Lowry's literally in the NBA still. It's yeah, those guys are done.
Well, so it just I'm a little bit less concerned about saying he's not as good as Bam. So can't have him over Bam. He's played his whole career. If Bam never played basketball again, I would kind of prefer to have Horford's career than Bam's career as far as a career great rankings. And so that's kind of my pitch to get him up. And taking him about Jones, who was a career great defensive player, Secretary of Defense, also on a career minutes restriction. The defense he provides is the same defense that Al Horford was later provided, and he never had the peak of Horford. So it's a small move. But we get him up to 182, kind of shift these guys down.
I really dislike comparing Al Horford's defense to an 11-time first-team all-defensive selection. Bobby Jones might be the best defensive player ever, and you're just we're kind of with that. Go ahead.
He was an incredibly versatile defensive player who also gets. He only ever had to be the defensive guy, and he only ever had to be the defensive guy in short bursts. because only ever
What's Al
play
Horford going
first.
to be? Al Horford averages like 12 points a night. So what are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, Horford had some offensive responsibility on Hawks teams that lost in the first round. And like, I mean, we're talking about like
60 games.
okay, looking at like the
And that
2016, 2015 Hawks actually.
2015, yeah.
Yeah, it's Paul Millsap averages 17 a night. Teague averages 16. And Horford's third with 15. Don't talk to me about offensive responsibility. They had 6 guys in double figures, 6 guys between 16 and 10 points a night. Horford's just one of them.
But Horford's the best one of them.
No, he's not.
Horford
He's
is-
just not. There's
He
no
is.
evidence to say that his 15 points a night are any more valuable than Millsap's 15 points a night or Teague's 15 points a
The
night. They're all
evidence is
taking
from
12 shots
watching
a
the
game. They're all
This
taking
is-
10 shots. They're all taking 12 shots.
This
Al
is
Horford has
pure,
the worst
pure
on-off
box
number out
we're
of those
watching.
guys. No, I
Oh
watched
my
that
God.
team. What happened in the conference
Yeah.
finals?
This year? Or
How many points a game did
Or-
Al Horford average in the conference finals?
I don't have the number pulled up.
It's 11. It's 11. Him and Kent
So
Bazemore
the-
average the same amount.
The
And
whole
Jeff
Hawks
Teague
get
averaged
worse.
22 a game. And Jeff Teague averaged
60
22 a
games.
game. Dude,
60
There,
games.
okay, but if you're gonna say it's just undeniable that Al Horford does not have some special offensive responsibility that Bobby Jones didn't have,
Okay. He should be above Bobby Jones.
the Secretary
You
of
know
Defense. I don't know.
Yes.
That. I don't know that.
Yes. Better longevity, a better peak, greater awards, better playoff.
Better
performance, like,
awards? Better awards for who?
for Al Horford.
No, he does not. No, he does not. He's a 5-time All-Star. Bobby Jones has 5 All-Star teams and 11 All-Defensive selections. Anyways, okay. Let me see.
His four
Say it again.
of his all team. His one. Sorry, this is when I try to pull up numbers to do this. All right, come on.
All right, I've crunched the number.
Jones has 4 All-Star appearances in the NBA. His one with the ABA. It occurs in the year that's only he had like 7 All-Star appearance. The team he is on, so everyone is an All-Star or on that team.
They boosted the Nuggets.
Not really a thing, but also would have made it. Yeah, because it's Nuggets versus the ABA All-Star.
Hey, but
He
then
still
the
would have been an
Dr. J-
All-Star had he been on another
Dr. J
team.
beat
that's
the
because-
beat the Nuggets though. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Al Horford played 18 minutes a game and jumped up 10 spots. Lock him in. 187 to
It's just
178.
is a better player than Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, I think I agree with
There
that.
we go. Fine. All right. Trae Young, Ja Morant, and Sabonis are our next 3, and I feel like they all had fine seasons, but
Mhm.
we were too high on Trae Young initially. I think
Uh-huh.
the fact that he had a really good year is probably just him getting closer to where we have him. We can compare. I wouldn't hate it, but like, I don't know. I'm kind of okay with where he's at. Same deal with Sabonis. Same deal with Ja Morant. Any desire to move those 3?
Yeah, Trae Young, I have 194, totally fine. Domantas Sabonis, 202, reasonable. Get Ja Morant away from this list. We were way too high on Morant. For someone who is never healthy, who is statistically, his team is better off when he's not even around. They do just fine when he's not healthy. just get him out of here, man. He's a head case. He's not healthy and has no winning impact.
So where do you want to put him?
224.
224. So you are
224.
dropping this man down to the Brandon Roy zone. I think that's a
Yeah.
fair drop.
See, I think, but it's interesting because I think like with Brandon Roy, it's so brief, and I think we thought after the 2023 season, like Morant was 7th in MVP voting, All NBA. Then he was an All Star in 2023. In the 2023 playoffs, he's 25-7. He had led like pretty good Memphis teams, and then you get like the injury and the gun thing, and he plays in 9 games, and he's barely healthy last year, and it's like, all right, that wasn't as good as I thought it was, and we jumped the gun. But
yeah, this is what I'm saying is I feel like we jumped the gun, and when I earlier mentioned play, we had paid too high, Glenn's too high. I think we did look at like these guys got 4th or 5th in MVP one year, or in John 7th, and led a team to the 2 or the 3 seed that year. Guy who does that for a couple of years. Give me a little bit of sustainability, a little bit longer of a career, and yeah, Brandon Roy. That's kind of what happened. His legs imploded, and now we only have a brief moment of Brandon Roy.
when we come back and do the next round of edits and finally lock in everything together, you'll see that I have Roy about 10 spots lower along with Joakim Noah because of that.
I think that's fair. Okay. Then the 35th active player from our preseason rankings was Anthony Edwards. We had him at 207 before the start of the year. The man's coming up. This man is jumping up very significantly. This is another Western Conference Finals for him. I thought we saw a sizable leap in him as a player, like skill-wise development, going from 6.5 points a game to 10. Percentages going from basically 36 to almost 40%, and from 3, he gets us. It's an all-star appearance, another second team All-NBA. I think the Ant-Man, I had him in my my jumpies right behind Rip Hamilton and above the Celtics Isaiah Thomas. Where do you have him falling?
I had him way higher than that. I went 149 ahead of George Yardley and behind Earl Monroe.
Okay.
Celtics Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah. So at this point, what I'm looking at is that he's now had a couple of good rough runs with the 2 West Conference. He's still relatively young in his career. And I think we overjumped on a lot of the guys. Like what we just discussed with Jim Morant is, hey, he did this once. Okay, well now he's done it twice. Let's move on a bit. But I don't want to just jump these guys up. I really want a Devin Booker scenario where they just are not the right guys.
I get that.
Am I being too cautious?
I think Anthony Edwards was a top 10 player this year, and he was last year too. And so just thinking about that.
I think that's absolutely.
And so just thinking about that, like, I really see him and what Jaylen Brown have done throughout their careers as like fairly comparable. Because I don't think Brown's been close to a top 10 guy. It's been for longer, but we're talking just like, I guess that peak. The Celtics Isaiah Thomas, I don't have in this range anymore. Like I think I really liked him, and then I grew not to like him. He's never healthy. It's a one season where he's kind of a fringe top 10 guy, surrounded by a great defense. It's really cool, and then it's over. Like even if Edwards basically has an Isaiah Thomas-esque injury plagued career after this, I mean, he made 2 conference finals, man. Like he made back-to-back All NBA teams. He was that guy. Like I look at like DeMar DeRozan. I look at DeMar DeRozan. I'm like, hey, fuck no, dude. Like get DeMar DeRozan like away from this list. He's better than he's or even like Gobert. I think about like what's going on like right now in terms of superstardom. this is Anthony Edwards' team. Like he's not. He should be ahead of these guys, and I could cool my jets a little bit, but
So I think just the thing is like still so much more of their careers and so much more predictable. But we have my thought of Rip Hamilton because I was kind of just perusing up the shooting yards list. Let's see where it goes. He is definitely a better player than Rip. Like that should not be questioned. That's not at all what I'm saying here. But this is not a better list. This is a greater list. And Rip had years and years of high-level contributions to a champion, to conference finals teams, year to year. Latrell Sprewell, who is small forward, but kind of look at them together because a lot of these guys kind of shuffle between the positions. You know, he leads the Knicks to the finals. He has a couple of good years. He chokes out a coach. You know, who hasn't?
Latrell Sprewell is insane. Latrell Sprewell is an insane person, man. Like I'm not.
I don't know if you've watched
I think we
much
could
Anthony
find
Edwards. He's also insane.
not Latrell Sprewell level. I think we could find some common ground. What if he's like? I'm looking at Darren Williams and John Wall because he's got to be above John Wall.
Okay, how about just above Lou Hudson? Unless you've dropped Hudson as well.
No, I didn't touch that.
Yeah.
Below
Gets him to
Tommy
160.
Chambers. I actually just typed in Tommy Chambers into my. Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
I would avoid us overvaluating modern talent because it's what we see in front of us.
Yeah. All right. You got me. Shit. This is just. Let's see.
I also, in a similar breath, I think this is the same range for Halliburton.
Okay, interesting. All right, 1 second. Let me fix some Edwards.
You know, we had him make these conference finals last year. He made the finals this year. They're some of the most clutch playoff performances since we have tracking data.
I think it is the most clutch.
It is definitely the most clutch run. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talk about, when me and Dylan got on this podcast and we said Tyrese Halliburton's a top 10 player. And we were mocked, ridiculed, chastised.
Hey, you don't have to put my text on public display just because I was begging you guys.
Tyrese Halliburton took his team to the fucking finals. And, and what a time to just plant your flag at a player. Loved that. Okay, let me look at Halliburton real quick. I think you're right. I think, would I rather have Gilbert Arenas or Halliburton? I think I'd rather have Halliburton.
Yeah. I was looking at like Kemba Walker. I'd rather have Halliburton. I mean, what Kemba did against the Purple Man, not close. Isaiah Thomas's one great run, not close. That
was a great game. That was Wade.
Well, it was Wade on one side, Kemba and the Purple Man on the other.
With the Purple Man, it's like this is a joint thing.
Yeah, I could get him up. I think that there's a case to say that he's better than Darren Williams or John Wall, but I also am just looking at this like Hallie's not going to play back next year, and who knows what Hallie's going to look like playing back. Like the idea that Wall was an All NBA talent, and then blew out his legs and was never able to play. I'm like a little scared for what Hallie's going to look like because he does have that herky jerkiness to his game. That I'm like, if he can't trust his legs, like, that could be truly devastating. But you want to go? Giannis is gonna woke from his nap.
I think can we put Halliburton above Walt Bellamy? You're muted.
Good. That seems like a reasonable spot.
All I hear about Bellamy, and you can track it throughout his career, it's just like he put up big numbers on bad teams, was kind of apathetic defensively everywhere. Everyone that traded him got better afterwards. So let's just stick Halliburton
Honestly,
right there.
screw it. Can we just keep going? Just keep going.
Just keep going. No. I think Ralph Sampson at 166 is kind of comparable, honestly. Like if Halliburton just
Yeah.
explodes and it's like terrible, that'd be pretty similar to what Sampson was.
So right below Ralph, 167.
All right.
Whatever notch we have.
Yeah, no, that's right. This is like the unchanged
All right.
landscape of the list. It's the last pure part.
Okay. Hey, next guy up. Did this Bradley Beal season make you think anything about him?
Yeah, let's move him down.
Make you feel some kind of way?
Yeah, it did. I think he's a just a detriment to winning basketball. Just a leech on any team trying to be successful. I think he should be. I think it's at 220 right now. How about 223? And he's worse than Terry Porter.
Yes. Love it.
All right.
And worse than Fat Lever.
Yes.
All right. Pascal Siakam is our next guy up.
Ooh.
I think that there's a solid case to move Pascal up somewhat significantly. I definitely like him more than quite a few of the names that I see here. I'm up moving him to just behind DeMarcus Cousins. I think Cousins, at least, is a super more talented player. And maybe if you got Cousins in the right situation, you could have these sorts of results. But at this point, I'd rather have Pascal Siakam than Kemba Walker.
Yeah. Can we?
Then Rashardless and Michael Finley, some other guys in this range.
I'll tell you what. I think we're right in step, but I actually had Siakam above Cousins, just one spot.
Okay.
Let's just do that. What's the case against DeMarcus Cousins? Sucks on defense. Huge crybaby. I need to come up with. I soft launched this stat, which is I would just call it the DeMarcus when you're the last person to cross half court. Just in any,
I think that should be tracked.
They should, because he was number one in that every single year. And it was crazy because the Kings would still run their offense through him. No wonder the Kings sucked so much. They only played with a 14-second shot clock because they had to wait for 10 seconds for DeMarcus to cross half court. I think Siakam would
makes it really hard to run their offense.
He's probably the first guy to cross half court a lot of the time with the ball in his hands.
Yeah. Yeah, spiky. I think there's a to move him up further, but we'll stop there for now. Next modern guy on the board, Jamal Murray, who was 2-3. Murray continues to have one of the strangest careers where regular seasons just aren't a thing for him, and he's really good at playoffs. Where do you want to put him?
Was he good enough in these playoffs to make that impact?
I don't think so, but I know you've already given names that you moved down that were ahead of him, like Brandon Roy and Joakim Noah. I wouldn't hate to see him move up over Carlos Boozer and Jones, but it's also like 3 spots, so I'm not going to fight too much either.
Let's just leave it for now. I don't think it was a great Jamal Murray season.
Okay. Then we have Karl Anthony Towns, whom for the year we had ranked 234th. The Matrix after that year that he just had has 129, which Matrix does prioritize big men in some degree, but also Karl Towns. He's putting together a career. He is adds an all-appearance, third-team All-NBA, which I thought could have been second. He's surpassed Kawhi in career points. I would like to move him up to that Sabonis Jermaine range, if not a little bit higher.
That's exactly what I had. I had him at 200.
Perfect. Locking him in. Now we got a list that I don't think we need to make changes on.
Mm-hmm.
But stop me if one of these names sounds interesting to you.
Okay.
Drew Holiday, De'Aaron Fox, Conley, Julius Randle, Brook
Yeah,
Lopez.
Julius Randle.
You want to
What
move
a
up
great
with
what
it,
a
or
great season from Julius Randle. He was awesome.
until he wasn't? But yeah,
He
fit in
he
really
was he
well.
was great. He was
Actually,
22 5-5 on basically like nearly 50 40 90 splits in the playoffs. He was really good. He like legitimately guided them to a conference finals at times. I think he's found his home. He signed a contract extension. Like I like Randall.
I'd say Randall's time in Minnesota had waves or had ups and downs. When he first showed up there, the team did not fit with him. It was a bit of a conflict. He had shooting way too many threes. The was messy at first. Randall was injured. The Wolves start winning, and then Randall comes back, and it was like, okay, cool. I see his team functions well, and he did a great job of adjusting his play around to the team, how they were successful in his absence, and it worked really through the playoffs up until eliminated. All of that said, I think he did a lot more with less, and I feel like we had him in a good range. Not like he didn't have a good season. Just, I don't know, I'm kind of looking at some of the things ahead of him. Horace Grant, Bob Malicki, Andre Iguodala. Like, we can move him up a bit, but like, there's Zebo right there. Like,
I don't
what
think he's
exactly
better
you're trying
than
to...
Zebo. Am I losing my fucking mind? There is no playoff series tab for Julius Randle on Basketball Reference. It's just gone.
Basketball Reference is weird. It last.
There's the game highs, and there's usually playoffs, and it's gone. Julius Randle's never played in a playoff series. What do you know? I think he should be better. I think we should move him up above Anton Walker. If we're looking for questionable shot chucking power forwards, I think I actually prefer Randle.
Hey, that's high praise. All right. The next guy on the list was Brook Lopez, who I would like to come up semi-significantly. This was not really I just... we were looking at it. We underrated Lopez and his longevity and his contributions to winning over an extended period of time. Really, I should say his contributions to basketball, because they were not doing much winning during his time in Brooklyn. He has been in the game for so long. His longevity is such. Kind of like to get him the Alvin Adams, Vlade Divac, if not over those two. Thoughts? You're on mute. So I'm just going to say that you said yes, and we'll move on. I could you say I did not say yes. You're still on mute, so I'm going to say you said yes.
I'm not muted.
Now you're not muted.
I said yes. I agree.
Oh, perfect.
This is the messiest podcast ever recorded.
Oh, yeah. No, this is going to be a true bitch to try to go through and figure everything out. All right. Next up, the 45th modern player, McCollum. No movement.
No movement.
DeAndre Jordan. No movement. No. Fred VanVleet, I thought was really good, but I don't know that we need to move him up. I'm kind of interested to peg, like put a stick name. I'm at 323. Just gotta watch next year, because I think next year could be a good year for his movement.
All right.
Speaking of a guy who next year could be a good year for his movement, but this year was a bad year for his movement, Brandon Ingram. We're way too high on Brandon Ingram. What's Brandon Ingram?
This was your fault. This is
100% my fault.
You were like Brandon Ingram. Why not? Brandon Ingram's terrible. All right.
I think I was just getting down to
Um,
like a tier of small forwards that I was like, really? Like, are these guys? These guys are like not good players.
how about
And I
below
think,
Gordon Hayward?
how about like 450?
Okay, all right. 1 second. Let me take a look at the Ingram stats and just
Is
refresh my memory if he's even good at basketball. Made an All-Star team, plays in 55 games a year, averages 20 a night, played in 10 playoff games.
here's where I got to with Ingram. Would I rather have what we've seen from Ingram or the entire career that Rudy Gay gave us? And I was just like, I'm
Wow,
really not
okay.
sure that I'd rather have Ingram than Rudy Gay.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, I think Ingram is better than Gay was, but he's also way less healthy and way less he played in 18 games last year. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. It's interesting. I look at like yeah, all right, well,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, whatever. Let's just say Brandon Ingram sucks. He never was good.
Corey Maggette, like 2 years at 20 points per game. Like what are we doing here? Maybe get you more. I think the problem is I'm gonna air this on pod is because uh, I had a racist at my house. A I want to get a Confederate flag tattoo on my chest. Come to my house one day, and he was
Okay.
shitting on Brandon Ingram. And he was a guest of a guest, and so I went head to defend him, and I'm like how
Mhm.
good Brandon Ingram was. Like
I like the cause. I like the cause.
every, and I think we recorded Brandon Ingram pod like or small a little bit later, and I was just like still on this high of like I have this incredibly irritating person at my house
Okay.
who now knows that I like basketball and just wants to shit on Brandon Ingram. And I was like, I fuck you, man. So I think defending racism or fighting racism, however you want to say that, is how
Okay.
Ingram got this high.
Can I announce a trade live on the pod real quick to you?
Is it the Cam Whitmore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give it to
Interesting.
our listeners. 2 seconds, Cam.
2 seconds. Yeah. The Wizards get Cam Whitmore. I like that. Good for the Wizards. All right. I think Ingram just completed the biggest change in history.
Cam Whitmore, 2,378th in the Matrix.
All
For
right, we'll get
anybody
him on here
curious.
soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ingram
All right.
dropped 120 spots. What's next?
Andrew Wiggins, I think we make a similar case for, but no. Ben Simmons, no change. Nikola Vucevic, no change. Any thoughts
Yeah.
on Tobias Harris moving up a little bit?
No.
Really longevity. The rest of the guys are all guys that we kind of ranked in the last pod, where we did Zach LaVine, or last couple of pods, Zach LaVine, Kristaps, Derek White. Could we reevaluate some of those guys and say maybe they should be a little higher? Maybe. But we also just ranked them. I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. That brings us down to the now 15 guys that we had off the list that I think at least deserve a mention to be on the list. This is every modern All-Star and Aaron Gordon. Gordo, the Nuggets kind of playoff savant this last year. You're the sniper, the put-back dunker, kind of highest rise for an individual non-All-Star player in the playoffs. Where do you want to sneak Gordo in?
I had him at 368, which was right ahead of Fred Brown and behind Cliff Robinson.
Okay. I had him a little bit further back because I was looking at him and I was looking at Serge Ibaka, and I was like, do I really think he's that much better than Serge Ibaka? And the answer might be no, but also it might be in these tiers, it's just such a small grouping You know, the shades are not that different. I don't quite want to get him over Turkaloo, who we have at 398.
Hito. All right. What if we did? Okay, so he's better than.
Is that too much of a Hito love? I mean, what he did for those Magic teams was really special, but also he doesn't have too much in his career outside of that.
I think I'd rather have Gordon than Hito Turkoglu. Let's
Okay.
do man, because he's better than a lot of these guys. Let's say what above Mike Mitchell, 397? Mike Mitchell.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I agree with that. Kind of get him in that Dalen Rose, not quite up to Jerry Sloan, the multi-time all-defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I think Gordon is a truly special role player who kind of miscast for a long time in Orlando. But if he had had the fortune to land next to some other great, if the Cavs would draft him instead of Tristan Thompson, and he got his career next to like LeBron, Gordon could be a multi-time ring holder. Gordon could be.
Sure.
He could be picking up some of those. Our team is a juggernaut, and so our third best player is getting all-star nods. I also think he could get those if Jamal Murray would ever be healthy. He could play regular season because if he was healthy and that team won 60 games, probably all three of them are making all-star appearances. So it's Murray's selfishness that stopped Gordon from being an all-star.
Wow, this is Jamal Murray's fault. All right, Gordon's locked
Murray's
in.
fault.
396.
Next modern guy, and I just had these guys now, or sorry, we identified these three early, and then I found the rest. Jaren Jackson Jr., you said they wanted to move him onto the list. What do you think?
Should.
Two-time All-Star, three-time All-Defensive player, or two of those being All-Defensive first teams. Averaged 22 points again this last season. Is maybe the best Memphis Grizzly. With questionable with job.
He is now. I had him at 308. Right ahead of Anthony Mason and behind David Lee. I mean, the two All-Star appearances, I think this season was really great for him because he took on a bigger role offensively, even though like the field goals per game doesn't necessarily reflect that. But with Ja in and out, it really felt like Jaren had more responsibility. And he made the All-Star team. Memphis was still able to make the playoffs. They had the 6th best net rating and 48 wins, despite John Morant only playing 50 games. All defensive second team. He won a deep way. He should be up there. I mean, I think looking at David Lee, like Lee is a very kind of traditional 20 and 10 back to the basket power forward, mostly played on bad teams. And so I think, and also Anthony Mason was more of kind of a role player on the good Knicks teams he was playing for. And so I'd like to say that Jaren Jackson's kind of has the production of Lee, but also is playing for better teams.
I think my hesitation is the start of those, or the peak of Jaren Jackson Jr. is over these guys. The career longevity is like 5th of those guys at the point. It's just so lacked, so little time that I'm kind of looking. I would like to dial us back and talk about him more, or being in that Marcus Camby range, where once again the longevity is not as high, but Camby is not quite peak. He gets the DPOY, but Camby not playing tier players. He is not in all-star conversations, and so that would just be my preference is let's let young guys continue to earn it. Let's not just say, hey, they're because fully going to they're being dialed back some off the longevity. And that's been my push pod.
I really kind of disagree with the longevity aspect because between Lee and Mason and Camby, we're talking about guys with about 900 games played. 800, 900. And so like if Jackson's at 400, let's say he's halfway to that. It's a lot easier to play in games than it is to be really good at basketball. I think Camby has one of he might have the least amount of games played for a player that played 17 seasons. Like Marcus Camby is never out there. He's
Mm-hmm.
never healthy. He just he plays forever. He's never on the floor. Like he's never going to be an all-star, and neither is I'm sorry, he's never going to be an all-star, even if he's this great defensive player, because he's not. He's terrible off. He's terrible offensively, and like I feel like, I mean, Jaren Jackson's just kind of a different animal.
Yeah, who's played half as much.
All right, where is Camby?
Camby I have down at 358.
All right, I mean, let's say he's better than Andre Kirilenko, and just put him right there.
Okay, kind of splitting the difference.
Yeah, because I mean, I think Kirilenko
all right,
pretty similar longevity. Andre, let's see, Kirilenko made an all-star, 3-time all-defense, played 800 games, made one all-star team.
So it's taken away. It's a lower tier player as well. At his peak,
yeah,
Kirilenko was not as good as the other two guys were at their peak. Because so that's, I kind of feel like the way that I've been doing these rankings, going with some of the younger guys, I've been like, all right, where's peak, and then let's dial that back like 50 spots or something. Who kind of matches up with them here, and then we just tone that out where we end up. So,
all right.
Now you're ready for the next 13 names, and these guys may or may not have a case to be on the Matrix, but they're all stars that are existing in the league. Cade Cunningham, 4 seasons, all-star for this last year, 26 points, 9 assists per game, gave him 6 rebounds per game, leads the Pistons to the playoffs. Interest?
We rank it 5 seasons. Hard rule.
Hard rule. You're just
hard
gonna
rule, except for when we don't, and this is one of the times. Hard rule. No, I'll see you next year.
Okay. D'Angelo Russell, one-time All-Star. He is 938th in the Matrix. Any interest?
I think D'Angelo Russell's bad. It's just so tricky. I think he's one of the first players I look at on these rankings and be like, that guy, for the most part, was a bad player. It's so tricky. It's a great story in Brooklyn. He's their leading scorer. They overachieve, and he's an injury replacement all-star, so he has that. Ask a Laker fan if he should be a top 500 player, maybe a bottom 500 player. Like, I just think no one else on this list is so hated for their basketball ability. I just don't think he should be on here.
Listen, I decided that if he makes this list over Derek Fisher, I will quit the pod.
I wouldn't do that to you. I would never do that to you.
Yes. Well, but the thing is, he is a more talented player. We could certainly say that he has a better peak than Fisher, but also the longevity and the career contributions. Fisher just fucking blows this guy out of the water. Or no D'Lo. Darius Garland, 6 seasons, 2-time All-Star, averaged 20 points and 7 assists over the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, it kind of feels like he should be on here, right? 6 years.
I'd rather have him than Nick Van Exel, in the 400 range.
Okay. I'd rather have him than Monte Ellis.
I think that's fair.
Would you rather have Garland or John Starks?
Ooh. As an individual player, I think I would rather have Garland, like going kind of peak for peak, but I think this is a good place to stop just below Starks. At least see Starks have moments, some playoff failures, but a full career at that point. And I think we put him in just below Starks. I'm happy.
I'll say some playoff successes. John Starks is a terrible game 6 or 7 in the finals, but you know what? He's out there playing 42 minutes tonight in the finals. Like, he won 10 playoff series. I don't know if I think Darius Garland maybe has 1 or 2 playoff series victories. 2? They beat the Heat in Orlando. Just taking down juggernauts year after year.
Yeah. All right. So we got Garland on the board. Following that up with Evan Mobley. 4 years? Are you going to hold true to your 4-year line?
Yeah. See you next year. For Garland,
Okay.
where'd you lock him in?
Just below John Starks. So it'd be my 390, whatever
Ahead of
you've got on
all
yours.
Pressa. Yeah, I'm at I guess 391 for me for whatever reason, but
I think
Darius.
you put Halliburton actually on your list earlier.
Uh
All right.
uh
Sorry, Mobley, you did not hit the 5 year mark. I do think there's maybe a case here for the next guy, although he's not at the 5 year mark. Jalen Williams,
can't do it, man.
second best player on the title team. He's getting that Pippen ring, that young Kobe ring, being playing
Yeah.
next to the MVP. 33 playoff games. It was the last 2 years, 20 points per game, six assists or 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I'm just saying, the longevity screws this man over. But can you tell the history of the league without him at this point?
He's like the last page. Like, oh. After
Yeah,
like 1,000
he's on
pages,
the
like,
left.
oh wow, Jalen Williams.
Guy. This is the
It's 3
future.
years.
This is the hope of the league.
No, I'll see you in 2 seasons.
Okay. Well, since you love Foxy guys so much, LaMelo Ball. He has played his fifth season. 231 games, just 16 more than J-Dub.
No.
Does
No. Let me look at the back end of this list to be like, is there? No.
I'm going to tell you no.
No.
I had to bring these names up for posterity. Lowry Markkinen, 1 All-Star appearance, has never made the playoffs. Couple of good years in Utah. Any interest in putting him on the list?
Lauri Markkanen is the greatest player of all time, and when Danny Ainge realizes this, they're gonna win the championship. But they refuse to build a competent team around him. He's gonna waste his entire career on a team that only plays him 50 games, and they're gonna lose 60 games this season. It's so sad, so sad. He seems to just love it. He's like, "Oh, this is great." I think he's a better player than like Shane Battier, and that's our final guy right now. So, but you know what? I just can't with given the misuse of him.
Yeah, where I'm at is I'm like, hey, 5 random guys test. Markkinen's going to win the game over Shane Battier. But like Shane Battier played forever. Shane Battier contributed to playoff runs. Shane Battier, we know, looks good in big moments. Let Markkinen prove that first. Markkinen find his way to a team and show he can contribute. All right. After Markkinen, we have Paulo. Any interest in the good man
What year is
Paulo?
it for Paulo?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I don't know. Who knows?
I think this he's heading into year 4. Yeah. He's heading into year 4. He's heading into year 4. He's 6'10", 250, and addicted to pull up 19-footers. I'm okay.
29 points per game in the playoffs. 8 rebounds.
You know, it
4
is interesting.
assists.
He does not spark good offense because he's not a good passer and he can't get to the rim or shoot the 3-pointer very well. But really good tough shot maker in the playoffs. Like when that bad offense in the regular season is placed into playoff games, like he actually is pretty tough to guard. And so I'm curious to see this Orlando season.
I do think also when you have a really good defensive team and you have guys dedicated to defense, it's just hard to have a good offense. We've seen it time and time again. We saw it with Iverson and Philly, and they're this like, offense is trash, but like Iverson's still getting his points, and part of it's trash because they surround him with defensive players. We saw it with Eric Rose in Chicago. We've seen it a lot of times with point guards. I feel like we give more passes to point guards than we do with like forwards and wings. If the best team's offense is trash around them, because they're just defensive heavy team. I just think it's an interesting note. But okay, then I assume we're also not putting Scotty Barnes on there. 4 seasons.
And Scotty Barnes isn't good either. So
Would you really rather have Mikal Bridges than Skye Barnes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 6 seasons for Mr. Tyler Hero.
I do kind of like this one.
All-Star, 6th man of the year. He's averaged over 20 points per game for the last 4 years. Now, in the 2020 bowl playoff run, he does come off the bench, but he's still playing like 30 minutes a night and has some really big performances for the team. The 23 finals run, he gets injured in one playoff game and only is that one playoff game. So I thought there might be more of a case with more or the playoffs.
Would you rather have Tyler Hero or
there.
DeAndre Ayton?
DeAndre Ayton. Oh no! Wait! Sorry, my mind went to DeAndre Jordan for some reason. I was like, "This, what the fuck are we talking about?" DeAndre Jordan. No, I think I'd rather have Tyler Hero
I
than
think
DeAndre
I would
Ayton.
too. All right. Okay. I think it.
I went
Just
up.
right above him. Just right above him.
I went up actually to the Drazen Petrovic line.
Drazen Petrovic line. Wow.
Up at 420.
He's better than Zach. Better than Zach LaVine, huh?
Yeah, that's my line. I was like, well, he's played on playoff teams and played well in playoff moments.
Is he better than Zach LaVine?
That's kind of where I was at. Is I would rather have him than Zach LaVine.
Really?
What was Zach LaVine ever doing in playoffs? Was he like 8 years?
Tyler Hero got drafted to the Heat, and Zach LaVine got drafted to the Minnesota Timberwolves. There's your difference, man. And
traded to the Chicago Bulls, a legacy franchise.
No, I think LaVine is pretty clearly better. Like he's played for like twice as long, and his 2021 season's much better. Let's do yeah, I don't mind doing. Man, that's so tricky. You think he's better than Kristaps Porzingis? Robert Horry, Derek White? Would you rather have Tyler Hero or Derek White?
I mean, next season I'd rather have Derek White. Yeah. All right. So let's dial it back a little bit. Got to get hot there. We've got to re-rank a lot. All right. Let's all right, just above DeAndre Ayton's fine. We'll get him on the list.
All right.
We can always come back to this later. Tyrese Maxey, has he hit the 4-year mark? I get what year he was drafted. Legitimately.
I don't know.
I think he's at 4 years, not 5.
So we're up to 477. That doesn't seem right. Because I just added Garland in. It should be higher than that. Oh no, 477.
Don't worry.
Right. Nate, I have to worry. 478.
I was gonna say, if we added in Garland, I'm sad that you don't want to add in Cade. Cade over Nick Van
let
Exel
him
just
when he wins his title this year and he leads him to the finals for the weak East, then you could be like, he's a top 100 player. Hey, find the other guy, led his team to the finals like this. Is that it? Is that all our guys?
No. I got well, but one, I thought you were looking up what how long Tyrese Maxey's been in the league. He's averaged 20 per game in the last 2 years, 6 assists, and about a steal and a half.
This is his 5th year.
This is his 5th year.
Should they have Tyrese Maxey or Tyler Hero?
I think.
Man, I don't know. He's really good. If they're only 300 games.
I think what I'd like to do. What I'd like to do is say he's in the final 25 cast. It's just someone that we consider, try to get in there. And over time, he'll rise up. But just the brevity of his career, if it never touched basketball again, then I think better than who do we have up next? Phil Ford. who
Yeah.
could have been something great, but eye injuries took him out. I think
So where
Maxi's
do you want him?
a little bit higher. The next point guard on our list when we come back to rank, 478 to 500.
Okay, so you're just saying he'll make the top 500. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
I'll just add
next,
him in. I'll add this one. Ty
all right.
Max. He's gonna be 479.
All right. Final little two guys. You're not going to like one of them. Victor Wembanyama.
Wembanyama? What's the point?
I'm just saying. Do we want to have him on the list now?
No, I don't. 5 years. When he's top 30 in 5 years, we can talk about it. I think I think we ranked Edwards after his 4th year, but that was stupid. All right.
I just, people want to know these things. They ask these things. I'm just seeing if we have any.
Where is Wembanyama in the Matrix?
2,384th.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna let you.
Right.
I'm gonna let you know we have guys ranked lower in our top 500.
Who?
Maybe not lower than that. I see here.
Yeah, lower than
I want to say Bob. Let's see. Come on.
Wembanyama was 9th on my scale this year.
Okay, no. Bob Rule and Jeff Petrie are two lowest Matrix guys, and it's in large part because they did not make the playoffs ever. It's that no playoff ranking. It's a brutal hit. It's their rankings. Okay, we have one final guy, and it was a guy that you asked me about on the last pod. That is Zion Williamson, 2-time All-Star, played just 29 games that second All-Star year. He is at 214 career games. I texted you before this is 6 career games than Jalen Williams, despite the fact that he is at year 3 and drafted 6.
I just kind of refuse to rank him. Like, he doesn't really exist. He's never played in a playoff game because he's injured every year. Even the year he was healthy, they made the playoffs, and he wasn't healthy in the playoffs. They didn't play in the playoffs. It's not a tangible thing. You can't have it.
So I somewhat agree with you. I would be okay putting him above Bob Rule, who is very similarly just this phenomenal player when healthy. Rule, though, actually we get several healthy years from, and then his career implodes, as opposed to Zion, who we've had 5 years of health. And maybe it's probably more valuable to be healthy for a full year than to be as healthy for 2 years. So I'm fine being inside the list, but I did at least go through the last 6 years of win-loss records with and without Zion. And you want to know what I found out?
What?
Pelicans over the last 6 seasons are 209 and 263. So a sub 500 record. Certainly. When Zion plays, they are 109 and 105. So just above 500. If we exclude the 1 year that Zion misses entirely, that 2021-22 season, the Pelicans without Zion for the last 5 seasons that he played in, so 6 total, 5 they played in, are 64 and 111.
They rely heavily on him, yeah.
Yeah, they're winning 39% of their games without Zion, and they're winning just over 500 with him. Zion's really good at basketball when he plays. Look at some of the advanced metrics. He does blow a lot of these other guys that use him because they hadn't hit their fear point out of the water. He plays. He just doesn't play.
That's so tricky. Let's do.
I'm okay saving for the final 25. The final 22 guys at this point.
Yeah, let's Let's see. I'm just gonna put him down for
480.
yeah, basically.
It's like
Son William, son. Just
got
kidding.
DeAndre Ayton above him, which feels terrible because I don't think there'd be a time in my life where I'd say I'd rather have DeAndre Ayton than Zion.
All right.
Thanks
You know
to the
what? Let's
fact
move.
that
Let's put him right above the
wait,
Andre
wait,
Ayton then. Awesome. No, you convinced me.
you don't play.
You froze. What's wrong?
Well, I was just gonna say, mentally it feels bad to have him over Ayton, but Ayton actually contributed in a playoff run, played pretty good defense, and has been healthy. Like I don't have him over Ayton is kind of where I'm at.
All right. Then we are all done. We did it.
Perfect.
Woo! Goodness.
All right, Aaron, where can people find you?
This podcast, sometimes, nowhere else. Don't look for me.
Find me Nate_Temple on TikTok. You can email the show hoopstemple@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.